Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Wisconsin Arts Board's walkthrough of our creation and presentation final report form. I'm Karen Geschko. I'm the Assistant Director at the Wisconsin Arts Board, and with me is Caitlin. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Sure. I'm Caitlin Burrell. I'm the Folk and Traditional Arts Coordinator here at the Arts Board.
And with us also is Dale.
Hi, Dale Johnson, Grants and Information Specialist here at the Arts Board.
Thank you. We are going to turn cameras off and share the screen and walk you through the final report form. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, so here is the screen you're greeted with when you first log in. You won't see this quantity of items because we're using a test application where we apply for everything, but you'll likely have a single item, perhaps two down here under this requires attention area. This is where you'll see the activities associated with the main applications up here. And the activities will include the final reports as well as the grant agreement activities.
This, of course, is happening within the Smart Simple application kind of online platform. And if you are not familiar with that, then please talk to the person in your organization that submitted the application and get your account login information, etc. And you can access this once you have that information. wab.smartsimple.com.
And if you have any problems logging in, you can always get a hold of me and I can help you with that. So you click on the in progress items in this lower area and you will find your final report. And so you simply click open and there it is. The first tab just has the items about your organization. Most of this, I think, comes from the organization profile. So you won't need to do anything here except give it a look and make sure it's correct. The next tab is where you can start entering information.
At the top of this page, you'll see the word project discipline. We know that you don't have a project. The creation and presentation grant is a general operating support grant, and it is for however you need to use it within the list of, the long list of eligible items. And so when we say project discipline, we're actually looking for your organization's discipline at this point. Yeah, Dale?
Yes. Institution or type of activity is always going to be 11 for creation and presentation. We put this here just as a reminder, but don't worry about picking anything other than that because this is a general operating support grant and that's what this means. Arts education is choice of 3 options there. Pick the best one.
And know that for these questions, these are questions that the National Endowment for the Arts, one of our 2 major funders, requires us to gather from you. And Dale, I know that sometimes people aren't really sure how to interpret this arts education question in terms of those 3 options. So if you wouldn't mind pulling that down again, what that means is if you spent your creation and presentation grant award on your arts education program and its activities, then you would choose 0, 1 there. If you spent it on a mix of things, then you would, including arts ed, then you might choose that second option. If you spent it on your utilities, which is totally appropriate given this general operating support grant, then you would choose that third option, 99. Even though you are keeping the lights on in your arts, classroom kind of thing, you can really choose 0, 2, or 99 in that case. That's up to you. All right, thanks.
Yeah. And the rest of these are self-explanatory, the number of artists that are involved.
And we are talking about within your season. So this is general operating support for your organization for the season. Regardless of how you choose to use it, we are looking for the number of artists that are engaged in your season of exhibits or programs or presentations. Adults engaged in-person arts experiences.
NEA wants to get your best estimate of the adults that were engaged in your arts experience. And they also want your best estimate of the people 0 to 18 that were engaged. So just give your best guess in there, although it's important. Look at the bold here. We don't want you to count people that are reached through TV, radio or cable broadcast, internet, or other media.
And again, we're talking about the audiences from your entire season of work.
This next couple of fields are one that often give conflicting answers. So what they want here is to know if any one of these categories of people represent 25% or more of the people that benefited. So they don't want you to know, were these people benefited? It has to be 25% or more of your estimate of the people benefited. We see quite a few of these where all of them are checked. Well, not the last one included, but maybe all 4 of these are checked, which by the description here would mean literally 25% were children, youth, 25% were young adults and older adults, which probably isn't the case. And similarly with these groups to benefit, we don't want to know if there were some people with disabilities or if there were people with limited English proficiency. We want to know if 25% or more of your population was in one of those groups. So just be careful when you answer those, that you don't just say, yeah, we had youth at risk, we had these, and check them all, because that isn't what they're after. This next section wants to know where your activities occurred. So you click this button and you're presented with a table, and you can enter the address in each one of these categories and the number of days that activities occurred at that location. The NEA is interested in physical locations here. They want to do some kind of geo mapping of where artistic activities occurred, I think. So we don't want PO boxes here, and we don't want to say library or something along those lines. Give your best estimate or the closest physical location that you can to where the activities occurred as a physical address. And you can keep adding as many as you need by clicking the plus sign here. When you're finished, just click save, and they should show themselves right here. And there's one narrative type question at the bottom of this page. So simply type in, you're allowed 1,000 words. So you'll see this countdown, I think, as you go. Yeah, I just let you know. And then click save. And you can navigate to the narrative tab either by clicking right there or by clicking next in the lower right corner of the page.
Thank you. And you may have said this before, but I'll reiterate it. At the bottom of every page, please click Save Draft. Our sense is that the system does save the information, but you do need to save it intentionally when you're moving from page to page, just to be safe. All right. Now we're at the narrative section, and this is the place where you get to tell us how the work went in this past grant period, and specifically what programs or activities or expenses you spent your grant award on. So this may be where you say, during this grant period, the Arts Board funded, the following programs or activities or personnel, and you could say $2,000 toward our electric bill, $5,350 toward an actor's salary. That kind of thing is what we're looking for. The more details, the better. That will be really helpful. And then the second question, as you know, legislators are very interested in the return on investment for public funding of the arts. This is where we get into the public value piece of what it is that you do. You know you do important work. We know you do important work. The people who are your authorizers, either on the local level or the state level, or there are people whose lives and work you have an effect on, but they may not fully understand the value that you bring into the mix. So this is the time to talk about that. And these are stories that we may be able to share with other people, whether they're your local leaders, if we have a chance to connect with them, or legislators, if we have a chance to connect with them. But this is the place where you kind of articulate to yourself and to us how what you did within your organization artistically had an effect on your community. And so this example of an answer pulled from a final report could be our family time together attending X performance at your venue last month was particularly important. The production addressed some of the challenging issues that our family has been facing, and it opened up a post-performance conversation that involved the seven of us that has been really important and healing and helpful. So thank you. These are stories that you may, have pulled from audience evaluations, conversations that you've had with people, things that maybe you have observed. You may have observed that there are people that in your community maybe have a conflict with each other, and they've come to one of your exhibits or one of your productions or performances, presentations, and you see them connecting around that topic in a way that were you not to offer that third space and this opportunity for them to connect, that probably wouldn't have happened. So these are just samples of the kind of opportunities that you provide with your community above and beyond just the sheer artistic awesomeness of what you produce and present. Alrighty, next question is asking you to upload a copy of the letter or email that you sent to your legislator and governor that acknowledged their support of the Arts Board and thanked them for this grant. So we get funding from the National Endowment for the Arts and from our state legislature. And for them to understand that their funding of this agency has a direct impact on their constituents, you, through this grant, is really important. And this is an opportunity for you to say, hey, we got this grant, thanks. A lot of groups will also, in that letter that they have sent earlier in their season, when they heard that they got this grant, they will also say, we invite you to this production on this date at this time. We'd love for you to see what we're doing. And if you can come a bit earlier or stay a bit later, whatever, it would be great to have our board member meet with you and talk with you about what it is that we do and why it's important to your constituency. So that's the kind of letter that we are looking for you to upload at this point. And again, it's a requirement of the grant. And so ideally you will have sent that letter earlier on in the season. If you get to this point because you're the new person or because you've inherited something related to this process and you either can't find that a letter has been sent or you know that it hasn't been, it's not too late. Go ahead and craft one then and say, just wanted you to know, legislator, we received this grant and it was really important to our work and we're grateful for it. And thanks for public support for the arts, and send it and then upload it here too. That's another option. Okay, a brief description of any opportunities that you provided to involve legislators further in your activities. So again, you may say that you've invited them to a performance, whether or not they came, you invited them. You may say, we invited them, they didn't come, so we said, we're sorry, we missed you, and we invite you to the second opportunity. And then we received a response from them, and they came. You may say that you offered a tour of your space or of your programming sort of virtually, and they were able to learn more about what you're doing in that way. Whatever you've done, this is a great place to put it. And then A goal of the Creation and Presentation Program is to increase community participation in and support of your organization. So here's where we ask you to talk about how you've worked to expand or intensify your connections with your community during the grant period. Clearly you have, you're connecting in with your community and you are providing important artistic experiences with and for them. And so this is where you talk about if you had a part of your community that you've been wanting to connect with for a while and you have not been able to for whatever reason, and this year you tried something different and you did connect, or whatever. This is that place within the narrative. All right. And then finally, kind of crossing off the checklist, we ask that you include the Arts Board's logo and credit language on your written materials and your website. So we're asking you whether you did it or not. And this is important for us to track. And again, lots of times there are multiple people involved in this process, and sometimes the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing within an organization. Not always at all, but sometimes. So this is a chance to go, oh yeah, that's right, we're supposed to be doing that. So this is our way of reminding you of that. And then the second question is, did you include the National Endowment for the Arts logo and credit language on your written materials and on your website? Because even if you did not receive direct federal dollars within your grant award comes to you because of those federal dollars that provide the Arts Board's staff's computer, a lot of our technology, those things that allow us to make these grants happen. And so you get federal funding in that way. All right. Next tab. The budget. Dale, would you like to walk people through this one, please?
Sure. This is information that we also need for the NEA report. So we're asking what your grant award was and how much of it you spent. So we're assuming those two are going to match. Very rarely some is returned. If so, you can put that here. And the total income and expenses will be for your organization as a whole. This isn't project-based. This program is general operating support. So we want to know about your organization as a whole. And that's the note that we have up here. And also we would like to know your in-kind estimate here too. And let's see, there's a chart you can use to fill out more specific expenses down here. And it's similar to the locations, artistic locations. You just press plus and you can put the item and the amount of the grant that you spent on it. So what we want, of course, is what totals the total award that you got. So however many fields you need in order to total the grant award is what you'd use. And that's all there is on the budget summary page.
Caitlin, would you walk us through the
Yes.
support materials? Thank you.
Yeah, support materials. Here is where you will upload 3 high-quality images related to the artistic activities that were supported with this grant. So once you've uploaded those images, we ask that you please just make sure to select that center properties icon there, and that's where you'll fill in a brief description of what we're looking at, a photographer's name, and the date that the image was taken. And I believe that you could probably put in a month and a year rather than the exact date if you don't know it, but maybe a best guess if all 3 of those month, date, and year are required there. And once you've done that for one, go ahead and save, and then go ahead and do that for the next 2.
In the next box, the question is, if applicable, upload 1 copy of the letter that you sent to Wisconsin's federal U.S. senators and your organization's U.S. congressperson. And so this is the place to upload the letter that you may have sent saying, dear Senator whoever, just wanted you to know about the work that we're doing with your constituents because it's really important and we wanted to celebrate it with you and just give some highlights of your season. Or we invite you to come to this special event that we're having the next time you're in the state, or whatever. But this is an opportunity and an encouragement. It's not required, but if you do reach out to those folks, um, and we encourage you to do it because it allows them to get some positive and important information from the area that they serve, about good things that are happening because of the arts. So this is where you put that letter. All right, the next section is the additional materials accepted, and some of you will have material from your season that you really want to share with us that doesn't fall into, any particular category. And this is where we encourage you to upload that. And if you have questions about what's appropriate and what isn't, you can always call us or email us. And the number, the general Wisconsin Arts Board number, is 608-266 0190, and the General Arts Board email address, which we'll get to whoever's most appropriate on staff, excuse me, is artsboard, ARTSBOARD, at wisconsin.gov.
In terms of file formats, the images must be JPEG at this point. So that's the most common one. Most people have no trouble with that, but that's the one that it must be or you won't be able to upload it. And for these other two fields, we require PDFs. And we do this just so that it's easiest for our panelists to deal with these file types because they're the most common.
The final certification tab is fairly straightforward, but it's going to be the name of the person filling out the final report, title, the date that you are completing and submitting the final report, and then try your best to include a signature using your mouse in this box down here. And after that, you can go ahead and hit save one more time and then submit.
And if you did something wrong,
Yeah.
this is what you're going to see. I created this quickly as a test application, and I neglected to upload one copy of the letter from the legislators.
Perfect.
So you can click on this and you'll go right to the spot that's causing trouble.
Perfect. Thank you.
So you can fix it, and then eventually when you click submit, it'll be happy and you'll be all done.
Thanks for your attention to this. As always, if you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out to our staff. And congratulations again on your grant, and thank you for the work that you do.